boys and girls. Our project this week is influenced by this artist, whose name is HENRI Matisse. He's from France. He's a French artist. You might think his name looks like Henry, but in French it's pronounced Henri. HENRI Matisse. He lived in 1869 to 1954. He was very much influenced by the artwork of Vincent van Gogh, which we are a little bit familiar with. Vincent van Gogh liked color, and Matisse loved that about Van Gogh's paintings, and he loved color as well. He, in his time, was called a fauve. A fauve is a French word for wild beast because he was using color so much. And people weren't still quite familiar with this form of art, so that's what he was called. Here you can see some of his paintings, but then he became very ill and wasn't able to paint anymore, so he took up a new form of art that he called paper cutouts. And here you can see once he was better and out of his bed, he was in a wheelchair, and you can see all that paper around him. You can see some of his paper cutouts were so large, like huge murals on walls. He called it drawing with scissors, and here are some more of his famous paper cutouts. Here we have one. This reminds me of a trapeze, like at a circus, and these look like leaves and things. This one is called the clown, and this one here is called the sorrow of the king. So you can kind of see some of the figures in there you might recognize, although some shapes you do recognize, like rectangles and circles and ovals, but he does a lot with other shapes. So the elements of art that he is most focused on in his pictures are shape and color. Here you can see I have the color wheel. He was the master of color. He loved how color could generate a feeling or a mood. He loved how color interacted with other colors, and he created patterns with shape and color. And the shape that he used is 2D shapes, and he used some geometric shapes we have here, but he also used freeform shapes or organic shapes, which organic shapes remind us of things that can be found in the natural world, but we don't call them that shape. So we don't call this a leaf shape, but it looks like a leaf. It's a freeform shape. All right, so today you're going to be using some paper, scissors, and glue, and that's it. You're going to be drawing with scissors today and create a paper cutout. Now your paper cutout can look like something if you want, or it can be more abstract. So here we have some paper. I gave you some scrap paper in your art kit, and you need a scissors and some glue. And if you have a piece of paper, a plain piece of paper, you could start with that. Or if you have your sketchbook, you can open up your sketchbook, or you can simply take a page off the back if you haven't used it. Or better yet, you could even just work on the back of your sketchbook here. Okay, so those are some ideas for paper. A couple more things. If you feel like this might not be enough paper, or you want some more colors, I'll show you how you can find some paper around the house with your parents' permission, of course. You want your paper not to have words or pictures on it, so you want kind of solid color paper. But here I found an envelope that I got from in the mail, and here you can tell inside here I could use that. It's kind of got a little pattern to it, but that's going to be a neat piece of paper. So I can just cut here and use the envelope. I could even use this piece too. All right, so I have that piece of paper. I also found around the house, I found a brochure or pamphlet, and look, this is a nice color here, so I could cut Now remember, ask your parents' permission in case they need this stuff. You never know. So I have this piece I could use, and I found an envelope from my school pictures. It has this nice glue on it. I could use some of that. Remember, ask your parents' permission. You don't want to get in trouble for taking something that they really wanted to keep. All right, so I have this. Now, I'm not going to use this with the word. I'm just going to use that. Another thing you can use is boxes. I have a cereal box. It has some color on here. I don't want the pictures, okay? But another thing you can use cereal boxes for at home is you can use them if you run out of paper, or if you want a more sturdy piece of paper for your artwork. Look, you can just cut the box. So I'm cutting the box here. You might need your parents' help for this because sometimes those boxes. And then look, oh my goodness, look at that. It's a blank canvas you can use to draw or color or make a paper cutout. Okay, so I just wanted to show you some things that you could use from around the house, boys and girls. All right, let's get started with our paper cutout. So here's what you're doing. You're drawing with scissors. So pretty much you don't need a pencil. You can just start cutting and just cutting shapes, whatever you want. Or if you kind of have an idea, like if you're thinking of summertime and you want to draw, you want your cutout to remind you of summertime, you could cut out some shapes that remind you of the summer. I want you to try to do some free form shapes like this, and I want you to do some geometric shapes. So here I've already started my paper cutout. I'm just gonna slide some of this stuff out of the way here. And I already started my paper cutout, and here I have a new piece to put on, and I'm going to wait to glue it on so that I can decide where I want everything to go. I'm going to cut another piece. Try one of those kind of leaf looking shapes like Matisse did. They remind me of leaves. So I'm going to use this envelope that I have here. Remember, I found around the house. And I'm gonna draw with my scissors. See, I'm just cutting around, and I have another piece. Maybe there. You want to save all your pieces, actually, boys and girls. Save them in a nice pile, and then when you're done, you can clean them up, put them back in your bag, because you might need these for next week's lesson. It's going to be a challenge, so save those because you might want them. All right, I'm going to cut out some more shapes here. I think this one I'm going to go and cut into a wavy line. I remember he had some wavy lines in his. So I'm going to go and cut there. All right, and use my scraps that, I want some purple in here. I love purple. So I'm going to cut, I think this one I'm going to do a geometric. I'll put some purple here, some here, and maybe I'll do one in the corners. There we go. All right, so once you have all of your shapes cut out, I could even use this piece down here. And then you can start gluing. And when you glue, you want to make sure you have enough glue, but not too much, boys and girls. Okay, you don't want to waste your glue, but you want to get it glued down. So for these types of shapes, you want to go all the way around, okay? And hold it, count to 20, or say your ABCs quietly in your head. And then you have it glued down. See, just a dot like this is not going to hold down this whole piece. So you're going to want to put a little bit on the edges there. All right. Okay, and then once you have all your pieces glued down, then your collage is finished. I think I have a few more pieces still to glue down here. Now this artwork is more abstract, than Vincent van Gogh's or Andy Warhol's, because it's not really recognizable. You have to use your imagination a little more, and it may not even represent anything at all. And don't forget to sign your artwork. There we go.